Hi, everybody. This is going to be a poker coaching study session. We're going to look at some marked hands and cash games, but we're not going to show any of our solver training because that's secret, only for the people who show up live. All right, who's got a marked hand? Steal the screen.
I have.
All right, grab it. You got it.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yep, we can see it.
Oh my god, wait. I spilled it.
That's okay.
Again.
That's fine.
Is it okay?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. So this guy limps in small blind.
What stake is this?
This is 4NL on Unibet. You can see here. 4NL Unibet. So it's practically softer than 2NL PokerStars. I can tell you that. It's softer. And it's regular tables. I mean, there is no zoom at Unibet. So I choose to raise here. I usually raise either 3 or 4. I don't know. I just felt like 4 this time, even though this hand is not particularly good.
This hand is a raise, and this hand is a raise against a limp.
Yeah, that is true.
You know, at some percent, at some times, so great. You have not broken the solver.
I just follow the charts there, and then he calls, and flop is this. So I have a bottom straight. He checks to me, and here I know this is like board that I either want to check or bet big. And I just figured if he has like 8s, 9s, whatever, he's gonna call pretty much anything. And if he has like ace king, or I mean, he doesn't really have ace king, but like ace jack or something, he's just gonna fold it. I choose to overbet here.
I like
the bet size. The bet size is great.
Yeah.
Probably not solver approved, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah. I know. I know for sure, but this guy is recreational. I'm just gonna exploit.
Sure.
And then he calls.
Great.
And then I'm like, here, fine, I'm probably still good. And then 7 comes. And now I'm thinking, like, he checks to me. And now I'm a little bit lost in my head. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But my thought process was, if I was good on the flop and now this 7 comes, I'm certainly good now as well, right? I'm certainly going to be good now a lot. And now for the sizing, I'm not sure. I went half pot here, but now that I think about it, I think I want to go like 70%, 75. I'm not sure.
So you can figure out 2E here, right? So do you want to get it all in? Do you want to, is your goal?
Yeah, I would like to. Yes.
So, the theory is that we use a betting strategy called 2E, which means we make a bet size that will be the same percentage of river on turn we make a bet size on turn that will be the same percentage on turn and river. There are a couple tools to do that.
So I guess I need to go much
geometric sizing.
Right, but if you don't have the numbers memorized, you can do it in your head pretty easily like this. You just hone in on it. You go, all right, if I bet pot here, that's going to put 90 in the pot, and I'm going to have 60 back, right? Yeah. But if I put in half pot, 15, there's going to be 60 in the pot, and I'm going to have pot bet, so it's going to be halfway between those two. So you just do those calculations, and you go, I need to be right around 75. So you bet 20.
I definitely need to go bigger here. Definitely.
And to play it out in your head, when you go 20, it's going to be 70 in the pot, right? And you'll have 50 left. So you'll go 20 and 20 into 30, then you'll go 50 into 70.
Yeah, I understand. But I think my thought process here was like I was scared of him having like pocket 6s or pocket 5s or something. So I was like, I don't know, I'm not that sure. But now that I think about it, I'm just gonna have a best hand still so much of the time. And even if he has a set, so be it. Like,
my question is this, Dominic. If you bet this and he just makes it really easy and makes his hand 100% clear and he jams, are you going to fold your straight?
Yes, I'm going to fold here. Okay. Sure.
In that case, if you're going to fold your straight, then you can bet small. If you're not, then you ignore the fact that you could be beat and you just bet for how do I get all the money in? And sometimes, you know what I mean? If you're not going to fold, then you don't have to worry about when you're beat.
I mean, here, if he raised me, I think I would fold. Yeah, here. If he raised
Okay.
me, yeah. If he raised me on the flop, no, obviously. But here,
No,
yeah,
wow.
I think, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Alright.
So he calls. Now, probably
bad?
one of the worst cards in the deck. Mm,
That's a bad card. That's a
yeah.
very, very bad card.
Yeah.
And now, what do you think is gonna happen?
I think you're gonna check and he's going to.
No, he's first. He's first.
Oh, he's to first. Oh,
Yeah.
now he's just gonna, he's gonna jam or just bet big. He's gonna take it.
Yeah. So now 8 gets there, right?
Yep.
Pocket 8s get there. And the thing is, I don't have much info on this guy. I really don't. I just sit on the table. I figured he's recreational, but I don't know if he does this with air, and I really feel like no. So it really
Correct.
makes sense for him to have 8 here, like 8s or I don't know, maybe something like
Professional.
7-6 or something. I don't know. Could be that as well.
Fold.
So you, so the first question I would ask myself here, so you now got, I think, do you have a value beater or a pure bluff catcher?
When he jams, it's bluff catcher, honestly. When
Yeah, I
he
think you have
jams,
a
it's
pure bluff catcher. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
the next question I would ask myself here is this an overbluffed or underbluffed line?
When he just donks after two bets, it's definitely underbluff.
Okay.
And is this
Yeah.
an over, and then one more question. Is this an overbluff? It's related to the line. Is this an overbluffed or underbluffed size?
I think
Possibly.
it's underbluffed size.
I agree. I
Honestly.
totally agree.
Yeah,
In
so
In
What
solver.
do you mean? I don't
you-
know. Can you
Oh.
explain what you mean by underbluff size, overbluff size?
Yes. So, in the solver, in the concept of a solver, if you're going to bet 2x pot here, you are allowed more bluffs than if you bet pot, right? That's just straight poker theory, which is
Yeah.
the bigger the bet, the lower, you know, the higher the lower his MDF. And so you can put more bluffs in that range. And we know from mass data analysis and talking to people and looking at their faces that people don't play that way. People bet this more often with the nuts and they bluff. And when they bluff smaller than this size. Not that someone has no bluffs of this size, but that according to theory, they can, you know, they could have more bluffs in their range at 101 than they could at 58, and they don't. They have the
Oh,
opposite.
agreed.
Right. Now,
Like if you want to beat me on the river, you just bet.
right,
'Cause
exactly.
Most
So-
people don't have the balls, I think,
Right.
to
So
bluff
this,
me.
so when you look at this at this size bet, knowing that they are under bluffing, your 8 is not even a great hand because you're beaten by 8, 9, and you're beaten by all the full houses.
Yeah.
Right.
Bottom full, your pocket 4s, and I don't know how you got here with pocket 4s with this line, are not even a monster. They're
You mean
really,
a straight?
yeah. The pocket 4s are
Yeah.
the lowest full house,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
when he has his 8 here, he bets an amount that he can get called, that he wants to get called by. He doesn't bet 101, risking your straights. And when he has his busted clubs, he bets enough to try to scare you, but he doesn't bet 101 because 50 should do the job.
Yeah. Population against me never does this.
That's
Like,
what we're
If
saying.
you guys want, I play totally exploitable. So if you guys want to come and exploit me, you're
Yep.
welcome to come and do that.
Right. So everything I've just said could be wrong. Every assumption I've made could be wrong, but if the assumptions are right, this is a fold.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I beat, I'm folding so fast. I might just pretend to think about it, but
Yeah.
it is a snap fold.
Yep.
good fold. Yeah, I think I think for anybody on the call, the way to think about this, just construct a thought process, right? Which is something Matt Affleck. Shout out to poker coaching Matt Affleck. Matt
Matt
Affleck is very strong about in these bluff catching spots. You know, create a structured thought process where you go through a couple questions. Now, those questions can be different for a lot of people, but that's your first step, I think.
And what's the thought process you would use here, Larry? What that you would construct for this?
So I think it's kind of a blend of Affleck's and a blend of Tombos's from GTO Wizard. So the first question I would ask is, okay, do I have a value beater, right? Am I ever beating value? Now, in theory, you call if you're beating value,
Right.
or do I have a pure bluff catch? That's question 2. That's question 1. Question 2 for me is, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Okay, then let me
Question
check-
2 for
back
me
to-
is,
Yeah.
is this an underbluffed or overbluffed line? And that's a very important question. And then question 3 for me is we start getting into more esoteric, but I think the first 2 are the most important.
Gotcha.
Question 3 is when we start thinking about our pot odds. What pot odds are I getting offered here? And do I think, let's say I'm getting, it's a pot size bet. Do I think that villain bluffs less or more than 33% of the time? And then after that third question, where usually I've come to a conclusion, if I'm still unsure, then I can get into very esoteric questions about blockers.
Right.
Am I blocking bluffs or unblocking bluffs?
So to answer
Am
your
I blocking value or unblocking value? But blockers are the last question you should ask yourself, especially against humans.
So in your first question, am I beating any value? We look at this board and we say, does he ever do this with a 7? Does he ever think a 7 is the best hand now? And I think the answer is no. I think he's spitting up in his mouth with a 7. He
Yeah.
called your bet up with a 7 easily on the flop. I have top pair. On the turn, he was slow playing his 7 to not raise you. And then on the river, he went, why did I slow play? Why didn't I raise? And when he's feeling that, does he bet 101 with a 7? And I would say almost never. And when he doesn't do it with a 7, therefore, you beat no value. You beat nothing he perceives as value.
Yeah, and then you go to the next question. So you have a pure bluff catcher.
Right.
Next question. Do I think population donk shoves 1.5, 150% pot? Do I think this is an underbluffed or overbluffed line? Well, we clearly know this is underbluffed. And then I think in this case, we don't even have to go to the third question, which what are the pot odds being offered to me?
Right.
When you say underbluff, you mean population doesn't bluff enough here.
This
Doesn't bluff
line
enough,
and this
frequent
sizing
beating.
is underbluffed.
Doesn't bluff
Pardon me?
enough, you have to reach MDF.
And so MDF, yes, pot odds, MDF, whatever you want to call it here.
Yeah.
So he
I
doesn't
think
bluff enough to.
The value of that metric is, in my head, shrunken by the clarity of the first 2 questions.
Right.
By the way, Dominic, I put a geometric bet sizing PDF cheat sheet in chat. If you want to look at that.
Cool. So what'd you do?
You
I
mark-
just folded.
Yay.
I think the biggest mistake is this. I should just pretty much prepare my sizing to have a good jam on the river, but I just
Yeah.
bet too small.
Yeah.
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 Well, he's just playing face up 90% of the time.
Yeah. We all believe you should have lost more money before you folded. Okay.
Well put, Scotty.
All right. Who's got a hand?
So you put a cheat sheet in the chat. I'm looking at the chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a PDF with that's a cheat sheet, which, by the way, shout out to Joey, who's gone on to graduate school. This is created by Joey. But it's a PDF. It's at 1327.
This is an old hand. This is back in the days of
27.
This is back in the days of 3 big blind opens. And the poker coaching charts thereof. Raise, get called, get 3 bet.
This is what, 25 NL?
This is 25 minute. No, this is smaller. This is
I
no,
see
this is 25
geometric sizing SPR. Is that it?
this is 25 NL. Multi-way. So this queen 10, this should just be a fold, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I
I'm
should just
not-
fold.
I'm not calling with the.
Right. Okay, so that's the first mistake. And now with a backdoor, let's make another mistake. He bets small. I can't fold, even when he has aces, I can't fold direct equity and the backdoor flush here. Right?
Uh-huh.
Even against his ace,
Yep.
and especially against this size. Yep. So that's where the real mistake came in. Then I pick up more equity,
Double gutter.
double gutter. And the size he goes. So now with a double gutter, I probably still need to,
No.
no,
Nah, there's not enough behind.
Here's the thing when you play live is you could count your outs. Like, so when he takes the sizing, pretty much has a very strong hand, like an ace or a set, maybe. I don't think they have a set here.
no, he just has ace
So
king.
if you hit your hand, you would lead out for value, and then when a flush comes in, you could also bluff here.
Bluff,
That's the approach I would take if I'm
Right.
gonna call here. If a spades come, I'm just gonna donk lead.
And the number here has got to be wrong. This 45, I can't have 45% equity here. Unless it's reading the fact that we know what his cards are.
Well, it's
No, we do
saying,
not have 45% equity. That's
oh
crazy.
yeah, probably have his hand, yeah.
You
Yeah, I
don't,
don't-
well, now it shows the true equity, right?
Okay, now it shows the true equity.
Now it shows exactly,
Oh, so it was an equity against, oh, so it was some
it shows
equity
8 outs now.
exchange of something. Okay. Good enough. All right, now I have to fold, right? Yes, but no,
Oh, that's a mistake there.
that's a big mistake. It's a huge mistake. And now I have to fold. All right. That was misplayed on every street except for opening it. Good to know. Somebody else grab the screen now. I put that up there just to fill time while we
Here,
were
I got,
waiting.
I got a short one that came up the other day.
Put it up.
Oh, sorry.
If you want to go ahead, Mike, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So we got our favorite hand. And so my normal.
My favorite hand too.
Yeah. The normal raise size for me is 2.5, but I remember this, I made it 3 just because this was loaded. This whole table was kind of just loaded with fish. So I did size up, and if anybody's paying attention, they would have seen it, but you know, whatever.
They
They
weren't.
don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. I should have made it 4 to be
Should
honest.
make it 4, make it 5.
Yep, for sure. So I don't know if this gets, I think the question is here. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, multi-way, you're kind of competing against, theory says, you check a lot, you check a ton here, range,
No theory.
everything.
Or ways.
And the other competing philosophy is, well, let's just build a pot. But I did choose the check line. Does anybody lean one way or the other there?
I lean
Keeping
to
in
build a
balance says
pot
check.
because I want to increase the stakes that I'm playing at. Because if I have 100 big blinds, I want to get 200 as quickly as possible. Because if there's a fish somewhere in the room that has 200, I want to move to that table.
I just go back to
Okay.
Jaffe every single time here. If we
What?
check, we just gain important information about what our villains think about our hand. Most of the time, they're gonna have bluffs, but most of the time, we're gonna find out some very interesting information.
Yeah,
My
I-
problem, oh, go on, Adam.
Mike, so one of the things I think about, I'm defaulting to checking out of position here in single raise pots. And and I think that my check, I'm doing it pretty universally right now, but as I see more players behind, I think of that as being more comfortable because there's more opportunities for somebody to stab. And you can get guys to stab on this board, like if a guy has like pocket 8s or something like that, and they see like everybody checked in front of them, and then they see this like flush draw board out there, they might just stab. And that gives you an opportunity. So I am fine with the check.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where I've been
You
leaning.
check
too.
raising
I've been kind of
though.
defaulting to the check line.
Are you check raising this hand though? Are you
depends on
checking
how many
looking?
players are in, Samuel.
Huh?
If you get a bet and a raise, you're not check raising. You might fold. You
No.
might.
If,
If you get a
if you
bet.
check like this
call.
and then gets fold, are we check raising?
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
will be check raising this in certain situations for sure.
Yes, it looks especially fun to check raise against this broken stack if we get two folds behind his stab.
The challenge with the aces here for me about the check and get more information is I don't know how to read the information because I specifically have aces, meaning if it goes check, bet, call, usually a pair is not going to win at showdown, or too often it's not, to quote Joey, but they both think that their kings are value. That's the thing, is they think their hands are better than they are relative to my hand.
Yeah, you have a good point. I mean,
Even if it goes
you're
bet
always going to
raise-
be uncomfortable and it's always going to be tricky out of position multi-way.
even if it goes bet raise, I'm not ready. I mean, especially with the ace of hearts, it's just so I don't know what to do with that information. Having said that, checking is really good in theory, and I like what you did.
And by the way, everyone, if there's no one here who is, I'm going to make a shout out to poker coaching. If there's no one here that is a poker coaching member, the next 36 hours will be free for everything. So if there's one thing you're going to do this afternoon,
Yeah,
if you don't have a poker coaching membership, you have full access to everything on the site for the next 36 hours. Go create an account, go search in classes, Jonathan Jaffe, and then look for the course he does on multi-way.
So Jonathan Jaffe's the coach that you would recommend I key on?
all of
Yeah,
them.
Jonathan Jaffe is the shit up to me.
Yeah,
Other
he's
people
so
have
good.
different
His
opinions, but
strategy,
he's just
his strategy is great, and he does a great job of explaining in kind of layman's terms.
Yeah, I'll just jump in there. Jaffe stuff is like, if you don't have anything to do, like Jaffe stuff is super valuable.
Okay, I guess I know what I'm doing for the next 36 hours.
All right,
yeah. Just look, watch Jaffe and take notes
Okay,
Beautiful.
I'll make a report, okay?
and report back. Yeah.
all right, let's see what happens. He bets.
We got this. Both of these guys, by the way, were the targets of my 3 big blind raise.
Then you're not
Pre-flop
folding.
raise.
Then you're not folding.
In fact, I chose this line,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
bigger.
Well, if we go bigger, do we just jam or what?
I
Not
want to
yet.
go, well,
No.
hang on. So
They'll
one thing to
fold, they'll fold too much they'll fold too much of their stuff to jams that they won't fold to this.
This is
Yeah.
an effective pot committing bet anyway, so
They don't know
Fine.
that. Yes.
yeah, they don't know that this is a pot size bet. This is a stack size bet. They're playing for stacks if they call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can get this to 35 or 40 if
Oh,
you want.
Well, I think 28 still pot commits them, but they don't know that.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
after
okay.
this, you're gonna make a pot size bet, and it'll be all the chips.
Keep blocking the flush draw.
Yeah, that was a key, having the ace. That was a key to checking the first time as well, I think,
Yeah.
too.
Great.
It's a great card.
Oh.
That's a great
Yeah.
card.
You just beat King 9.
All right.
And you just gave king, queen. You just killed 3 of their outs. That's
Just fall in.
See, this is why I like bigger, right? Because if you make this, if you made it 28, had you made it 35,
Yeah.
your stack would be under 70. And this pot would be 15 bigger, so it would be 90. So you would be, like if he has king 10, it's really hard. And now he's not folding a king, and I think that's your main target when you go with that check raise size. And if he
Yeah.
calls with his flush draw, the same thing applies, right? Like he still has, he's now like, oh man, it's like, a B66, like, let's gamble,
Does
Um,
anybody want to break this into 2 streets now and not jam on this and go 35-35?
You could.
Considering it. Yay, thank you.
Mike
Mike.
does.
All right, good.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, that he could fold a lot and just give him incorrect odds to anything he has.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's right. Like I was torn. I was like, I should just shove now. But then I was like, well, I mean, he's just
I would,
Drawing
yeah, I
dead
think the
to
your
anything
ace
but
of
a
hearts
flush
is
draw.
very important here.
Arturus said, all we do here is say that we have the nuts by betting half pot. And Arturus, that's only to someone who's listening.
Well, yeah, that's true.
If someone who's not listening, they look at this and go, I could hit my queen.
Yeah, he folded, but
Do we get the reveal?
you do. So this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
See,
Here's
So
what-
this,
here's
so
how-
just talking about this hand again. So, you know, I think I don't use the front loading that Sutton is talking about, which is a larger sizing. But this is the kind of hand that I think calls at a much higher frequency with a draw to a flush when you front load your check raise. Like I think of what Sutton is talking about, essentially front loading our bet sizing to extract value from, you know, combinations like this.
35 here.
He's calling 32. We know, I mean, he's calling 4 big blinds more. We believe that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And-
don't
and-
think, yeah, there's no question that making it bigger would be
Yeah.
okay as well. Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't call with his flush draw.
Yeah, and the reason I'm talking about it is because I'm trying to integrate it into my thought process a little bit here.
And I mean, like, even if we go with the bigger sizing and he calls and the heart rolls off, like, we're not folding either, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. We also, yeah, we've denied our own fold equity.
Who's got a hand?
Alright, I've got one. This is
Got it.
pretty, I think. I think it should be pretty simple. But I thought it was interesting. Alright. So, this is 50 cents a dollar on Poker Bros. I'm pretty familiar with all of these guys.
Poker Bros, yay.
And this guy does this. And we're here. And so we have 8x open sizing.
So obviously villain dependent, right? Do we know anything? Did you know anything at the time?
This is what I had right here.
Still over
37
172
10.
hands.
Yeah.
So I think, so, I mean, we talked about this actually a couple days before, the sizing.
Mhm.
This falls into, well, I feel like I'm cheating, so I'll let other people talk.
You play with him before, right? Have you seen
Yeah,
the
I play with
showdown?
this guy. Yeah. And
Have you
I
seen-
would. Sorry, Sam, go ahead.
What are the showdowns when he takes sizings? That's how you should react to it. When he opens like this in the past, what kind of hands is he showing off with? Because some people were raised with this sizing with like 5s and 8s and 7s.
Yeah, I don't have that much like history with this guy to know that, but I feel like this pre-flop number of 10 is pretty indicative. And he is, like you can see, he's a range splitter here. So he's got
That's a very
Yeah.
good point.
he's
This is
got this. He's definitely raising with his strong hands.
Then you should just flat. If his range is strong, then we should just flat here.
I think this is, well, I think that this is 3-better fold, and I think that we can overfold because if he's splitting range, he's not doing it balanced. This is super linear. And he's got a broken stack, so we don't have a full stack to get if we do 13% of the time hit our set.
Nah, I don't agree with 3-bet or fold. Against these kind of passive players, when they're only opening their strong hands, you don't want to 3-bet into their strong hands. It's just, you don't need to. You could just flat here and leave his like ace queen, ace king, or any of those hands in and just play in position post flop in a bigger pot.
All right, anybody else?
That's how I view it.
How about the table? Like was this totally out of the blue, or was stuff going on like this?
Um,
Yeah.
we see 5 and 6 and $7 opens. It's not like terribly common, but it is not uncommon, especially from players that have this sort of VPIP preflop raise construction.
I mean, just look at the stats. We're looking at 22 and 6 for Rivian, 27 and 3. These are just limp happy, want to see a flop gamblers. This is a live game.
It plays exactly like a live game.
Yeah.
So I guess, so I actually, I just fold here. And so given like the conversation, that we just had, I think like, I'm going to share my screen again. Because in GTO Wiz, you can look at the big sizing. I have that here. So just give me just a second here.
While you get that ready, for
It's-
those of you who have not studied the GTO Wizard 3-bet ranges, you'll be shocked at how often Jack is just a fold there against the normal 3-bet size. I mean, against
So-
the normal open.
So this, I don't have an 8x open. So all I have is a
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, and look at
Um,
that.
And this is our cutoff range. So it is 3-bet or fold.
Yeah.
And just look at just like how tight it is.
I love it.
And one of the other things that the reason I did this is because I did this with a buddy the other day, and I thought it was like really eye-opening. So if you look at the under the gun open strategy here that uses a 7 big blind sizing in GTO is like it's 8% of hands. And if you kind of look at that range is like really snug range, and you might be inclined to think like, oh, 7 big blind opener is not going to be using that. But if you look at the guy's stats, like we just saw with like the 10% raise size or raise frequency, it's not far off of 8, and so he just has like a really strong range. So a lot of times when these range splitters use this open sizing, they do have a range that kind of mirrors what is in solver.
And Adam, was he under the gun or under the gun 1?
This is 8. So, and he was
Oh,
under the
okay.
gun 1.
Okay.
And he was under the gun 1. So I couldn't, we can't,
So-
it's not quite the
Here's a
same.
caveat I think we need to, and I don't know how we can articulate this, but this range that we're looking at, these ranges are GTO ranges that assumes everybody at this table is all like studied at 7x opens.
Thank
So
you.
I don't think, this particular situation doesn't really fall into these ranges.
Yep. You got to switch.
But
go
the
back-
switch to 2.5, and you'll see that the Jacks is still not prominent against. I mean, it's less than 20%.
I mean, it continues.
Okay.
I mean,
Well-
Mike, can you like say that again? Cause I'm not sure
just-
I
I
understand.
just think we got to be careful about assigning these GTO ranges to players that, they have no idea. I mean, sure, granted, they could coincidentally be, accidentally be falling into this range, but I think it's not the same. Same with like your 3-better fold here with these ranges assumes that everybody else behind you as well is like pretty good. Like
Yeah,
they're
knows how-
gonna
knows how
know
to-
what to do to your 3-bet and whatever.
Now, why are we at chip EV here? And you were at rake or no rake?
We were at rake. What am I at? What's my,
Yeah, you're at chip EV here. Go to the no
oh,
rake 5, and you'll be shocked at
I
half.
thought I had that. I think I had toggled it back when it was,
Okay.
when I went to 2.5. Yes.
So there. Now,
So hang on. Now here it
yeah,
is.
good. Now go to 2.5. Now go to 2.5 with the rake.
Yeah,
And
it's
now-
gonna-
It's
What
still,
the heck?
it still
Oh, you're-
continues.
You're still okay. It's different than the 9. The
It might be slightly different than the 9, but
9 is
Um,
the 9 is
I mean, we can,
this is very different than what I studied. So the 9, 2.5, that's what I've studied.
and there you go, 9.
And the Jacks are.
But like,
most-
I kind of want to go back. Mike, I think that these ranges with the big open sizing are driven, the response that we have is not driven by the players behind. It is driven by the range in front.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you see a range splitter, like this is like what a range splitter is telling you is we put in the 8 bigs with these hands that are in red.
Yeah, he doesn't have 5-6 suited here.
Yeah, you can ignore all of this. Maybe
I
not.
don't
Maybe
know. I think you can add 10, 10, 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7.
You can do
Yeah.
that. You can do
Yeah.
that.
I mean, you
What I would
That's
say
true.
it's like just adjust his opening range with this 7x opening to just the best top 10% of hands, and then see if the solver wants to call with jacks.
No, don't get me wrong though, Adam. I
They're
think folding
they're
is
not
fine,
opening
for
the
sure.
7x with king 5 suited. Just go like maybe all the broadways and then pairs up to like, I don't know, maybe 6s.
but then he's not going to be at 10% anymore. Like if we're opening to 6s,
Yeah, then make it roughly 10%. Make
Okay.
it roughly 10%. Right? Because I don't think this is how you should look at it.
so look,
10%,
so look,
10%
here's
is 8 plus.
use a hijack range. So hijack range gives you 10%.
Yeah.
And then look at your button response. Like people can do what they want to do, but the moral of the story is like when you see and you know that you have guys that are range splitting and they're only opening like 10% of range, those are battles you don't have to fight. When they
Yeah.
limp, go to town, fight all you want. But if you want to fight against these ranges that are just crazy strong, you can do it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
Mhm.
There's easier ways to make your money.
Like,
Yeah, I'm
don't
just
set mine. Like if you're 200 big blinds deep, you don't need to set mine against a 7 big blind open if the same table has 3 big blind opens.
yeah, I'm not
Even though
giving
you're
up.
getting the right, even though you're getting the right odds, you can get you will have in that same session a twice as good deal, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not giving up a spot like
And
that
again,
though.
And again, it's
'Cause
profitable
I'll
as
be
profitable. Yeah.
flatting. I'll be
Maybe that's
flatting
what-
there too. So
Right. I just take back what I said. I don't believe what I just said. I liked how it sounded at the time.
All right, so that one, I thought that one was interesting.
Yeah, I like it. I think your fold is great.
Yep.
I just was kind of my point was, I don't think we should look at those charts and be like, this is what they have, or
That's true.
I guess we're going to disagree on that because I just think like if you're just sitting there watching a guy limp, and then they go 7 or 8 bigs, like they're telling you the story.
Yeah.
I think it's he was even tighter than this chart, to be fair. Like this range was perfect.
Who's got a hand? 3 more seconds and I'm putting one up. All right, get your hands ready.
Final warning, 3 seconds.
All right, I already went 3 seconds. All right, here we go. This is back in the day of 3 big blind open still. Raise and get a call. This is also before I knew that you should check a lot out of position. He's a broken stack. Oh, I did check. He bets 4. I think against this big size, you don't continue with backdoors, right?
no, you don't.
No, I need to continue with a backdoor against like a 2.
Yeah, and some more combos to it, maybe.
Yeah, I can fold this. Do I know that I can fold this? No, I don't know that I can fold this. I have a backdoor. I picked up equity.
You calling station.
2 back
I have
folds.
to fold. Now I have to fold. It's to 11. He doesn't have enough behind. I have to fold. Good. All right. To that.
Bastard.
Oh,
Yeah, that happens.
What about a check raise? Let's go back and look at this again. All right,
Right.
so what's the,
Not
so
against the
you've
big
got,
size. This hand's not good enough to check raise against the big size.
okay.
This
I
board in
believe-
general. This
So
board
you
in
have
general.
2, so obviously I'm being affected by seeing his cards, but
So what are
got
you
2
check
back
raising?
doors. You got 2 back doors and an over.
I got 2 backdoors and an over, and he bets more than half pot.
And he P60s.
Yeah, I think I should, I think
So,
direct,
I
at least
mean-
direct equity. or a made hand.
So what about if you had the front door suited here?
Let's run it. This hand is runnable. This is a nice, simple, just look at the range and
Well, how
see
about-
what do I check raise here.
What's, okay, so how about before we look at it, can we
Yeah.
like just like brainstorm what some of the
Yeah.
the check raise is, especially on the like bluff side here?
Yeah.
I think people might I think people might come up with like tens or fours as potential check raise candidates
Sure, value.
for the value side pretty easily, but I think the bluff side is hard.
Okay, so the bluffs that I'm willing to check raise and get it all in on are going to be king, queen of spades, queen, nine of spades. Easy, just check raise and check raise big, and if he jams, great, let's go. So those are fine. I don't think I want to check raise the raw straight up and down straight draws. I think I want to check call those and get my equity. So my king, queen without a spade, I think just calls. And his combo, king, queen with the king of spades. I don't know. And then my low equity bluff, you know, that I'm happy to check raise fold will be a single spade and a gut shot. So
Ace of spades, queen of clubs, ace of spades, king of hearts, maybe.
yeah, those also have the problem of having showdown. So how about queen? I don't have queen eight in this position.
How about ace four of clubs?
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice piece of nonsense. You can fold after that. Okay.
I think we're gonna see like overcard with a spade and gut shot. Like I think like ace spades X stuff. I think I know you
Ace
talked about the showdown.
nine. Ace nine with the ace of spades.
That sounds
Do-
nice.
Do we have ace nine off in the low jack for our open? That seems a little wide.
Yeah. That is.
The
We
other
don't have a
thing
sliver.
is, do
We don't even
we
have a sliver of
think
it.
that, so we got a broker sex, we got a recreational? How does
Ace
that,
nine of clubs?
ace nine club sounds great. How does the recreational, the fact that we can deem him recreational, how does that affect what we think his miss C bet, the shape of that range is? When he bets the miss C bet? Is he more value oriented or is he more bluff oriented?
A lot of guys say that this is a overstab spot.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just curious.
I don't know. I think it's kind of tough, but I think it's also a situation where given the connected and wet nature of this board, we're gonna know pretty quickly how much he likes his hand.
Yeah.
Like if he has Jack 10, I'm not sure he's gonna go slow with us if we check raise here.
That's valid.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna get yourself in a pickle here, obviously, if we check raise, but we've got to find them.
But the more and more as this bet gets bigger and bigger, we have to find fewer and fewer of them. So
Agreed.
That's true.
how few?
That's true.
You ready with this one, Larry?
Sure.
All right. Great. Dominic,
Uh,
you're next.
Share.
Okay,
If that's accurate. Yeah.
here, this time. Wait,
Okay, I think
yeah.
we're
Right
gonna show
after
the
we-
solve first.
Yeah,
Yep,
we're gonna
hang-
do solve
yep.
and
Okay.
Dominic is next.
Okay,
Can you guys see the? solve?
Yep.
Alright, so this is a range check, so this texture, I think, does lend itself a lot to the imposition flatter. I had to give him button range because he doesn't have,
Right. That's fine.
he actually doesn't have the offsuit combo here, which is important too.
Yeah.
If we look what he doesn't have this. In solve. He doesn't have this as a flat. He's got the suited combo, but he doesn't have the offsuit. So
Yeah.
that's important.
But he has a sliver of it. We don't break the solve. It's
Yeah.
there.
So we check range here, and I'm just really quickly, I think this is just a really good board for in position. Not really. Nope.
No.
Not so much.
No.
We're kind of,
He's got the nut
Yeah,
advantage.
this is, I think, a jump balls to turn people here.
Yeah.
Sometimes use.
We win.
So we check range. He chooses, I said he chose a B50, which is.
Yeah.
He polarizes heavily here.
Yeah.
On this board. But if he chooses a B50, we just don't have that many check raises. I thought we would have check raises here. Obviously, that's my obsession right now, but it's
Yeah.
not borne out here. But where do they come from? Well, they obviously come from fours. They don't come from tens. Still play tens to this sizing. And they don't really come from jacks. So I think what happens here is once we eliminate our XRs with the very top of range, all the
Mhm.
bluffs that we're talking about disappear too.
Yeah,
Because
we
we
need
don't
very
need
few
to be
bluffs.
balanced.
Roll of the king, queen suited and see if it's only the spades. Yep, basically.
And you had
raise.
the ace eight, right?
I have ace eight and I have to have the front door. There's no back
Yeah,
door.
so you got you got to muck to the
Yeah.
size.
Now dump him down to 2.15 and see if
Okay, we're gonna get into a Nash distance issue, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so yeah, you're still just out.
ace nine is still only the spades.
The interesting thing now is the jacks do check raise more because the pot is not growing sufficiently. But here is he's if you have the combo draw, you're going nutto.
Mm-hmm.
So
And say,
okay,
look at the ace king and the ace queen offs and the king queen offs. With the spade.
we want
Yep.
the spade.
They get to come in. And the ace nine suited there is only spades. All right.
Yeah, we had questions about the ace nine spade. We got slivers, but
I
mostly we
play,
just
I
call.
play. Okay.
All right.
Dominic, give us a hand.
Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, this time I didn't spoil it. Nice, let's go.
Nice.
So, this guy folds, 2.5 calls, and I obviously gonna squeeze here. I
like
go for 5x, so 12.5, and they both call.
Yep.
So I should probably go bigger.
Yeah, so
But
I mean, I think I'm not going to be the sizing police, but generally I think you want to go bigger here, like around 15.
yeah, that I could, yeah. Especially knowing that this is the same guy I had the hand here,
Okay,
you
yeah,
know, just so you know.
And straight up
And-
Jonathan Little there is 13.5. Pot plus, the pot, because you didn't count the one big blind in eggs in the basket in there when you went 5x. So that's all. Yeah, 13.5 is just the pot size plus 2.5 for the being out of position. And you did 5x. That's fine. It's a small
Mhm,
difference. All right, yay.
Yeah.
You like that flop.
Yeah, so here, I mean, we should definitely be checking a lot here, I think, but since it's recreational and since we're multi-way, I just choose to bet very small and they're gonna call pretty wide. That was my thought process.
Yep.
And this guy folds, and then this guy min raises. That's amazing. So what could that mean? That means he most likely has an ace, and it's very likely that my ace is better. Very, very likely. But it could also mean he has absolute air, technically speaking. But most of the times it's gonna be ace, pretty much here.
How
Or
often is it?
maybe some pocket sevens or something. But if he has pocket sevens, he got my money. It's fine.
Most of the
okay
time,
with
it's an ace at a minimum, and the question is, an ace. He has very little that isn't at least an ace here.
Yeah.
So
You know.
hearing you talk is important for me because it's making me realize how much I may be thinking in a poker PTSD mindset. Cause my alarms right here are going off. Like I'm saying, this guy is in position raising And he doesn't have to, he, in position raising, is I think rare in humans and also rare in solver. And so my alarm bells are going off, like, this is,
Yeah, to be honest, I
I am
wasn't
now
scared
afraid
though.
of sevens, and I'm,
I wasn't scared though, to be honest.
but
put-
that's
I put
important for
this
me to
guy-
hear, because I might be
Yeah.
going a little bit too much monster
Yeah,
under the
yeah. I
beds.
think at that point I had like 15 hands played, and I kind of saw what this guy was doing. I mean, he wasn't that big of a maniac, but he definitely wasn't good. He was overvaluing his hands for sure. So
Okay, well, that's
I
important.
think my ace queen is just
Yeah.
gonna be good here, 90% plus. to be
Yeah,
honest.
so understanding that someone is gonna overvalue their top pair here is super vital. That's really important.
There's no point raising, because if he really has sevens, that's just easy for him. Or if he was bluffing or overvaluing his hands, he may be stopping. So me just calling is,
I agree.
I think, the best.
Yeah, but have you thought about clicking it back?
I don't like the click. I
like-
like the,
What do you mean?
He's-
Like
He's
min raising again?
So against these low stakes, sometimes they will raise an ace, min raise an ace and trying to check it in pot control in later streets. That's what you're referring to, right?
great.
But if
then
you-
bet the river at him.
Yeah, and then what if you do like a min clicky thing, just so that he will call with a weaker ace, and then you get a bigger pot.
Yeah, I think that's not too wrong what you're saying, actually. I think it's fine, especially against this kind of player, but I just felt like calling is very good, even if he is having complete air, to be honest. I just felt like if he was doing this with nothing, I'm gonna get more if I just call.
I don't think he's doing it with nothing, but
I
Yeah,
love this,
he-
I
I
love
don't
this
know.
turn. I think this turn is. it
And
just
yeah,
so
on the
reduced
turn, I'm
his
like,
frequency.
very certainly sure I have the best hand. So I check to him, and then he bets very big, extremely big. So now I'm very sure he either has a sevens or he has an ace. And since I already told you that this guy is overvaluing his hand, it's most likely gonna be ace. So there's also no point in me calling. I just kind of jam the remaining, right? And he called, obviously. And I'm not sure if you're ready to see this, to be honest. But yeah.
Let's all guess.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
Did not
goodness.
guess right, and he called it. He called it. What?
Yeah.
Might have had king 10, he's thinking.
This is
What?
quite a unique bluff.
The bluff is unique, but the call.
yeah, you got to factor in you're playing 4 NL. I mean, what do you expect?
Wow.
Yeah, they're
Every
bad.
so often somebody looks at how much money it actually is and not how many big blinds it is.
Yeah, and people don't care. I mean, it's $4, so
Yeah,
Well-
there's always that.
Well, let's
Okay.
also understand that, people are from different countries, and $4 is not, $4 to you in California or $4 to me here in Austin is a lot different than $4 someone who lives out in Zagreb or lives in Bucharest. I mean,
yeah.
these are
but-
international fields.
When I see them showing down with all kinds of crappy hands, I just assume they don't care about the money.
I think that's a safe assumption. I think you're onto something.
So yeah, we're done with this, I guess. It's fine.
It's crazy he called off. Crazy.
Yep.
I'm surprised by the creative line.
Okay, who else has a hand?
Got another unless somebody else hasn't.
All right, you go. And someone else prepare a hand. Otherwise, you're gonna have to see another one of my disasters.
Ah,
It's the only reason I come to these, to see the train
But you get
wrecks.
to see, but my disasters are filled on Mondays.
Yeah, true.
Was this 50 NL?
Yeah, this is 50 NL. Just anonymous site. So I don't know anything more than the hands that we've seen so far, and it's been pretty.
Yeah,
Can
the
I
only-
interrupt this real quick and just mention something, Mike, which I wanted to mention to you and Scotty? Did you guys see the text from Berkey a couple days ago about ignition?
No, what to say?
Alright, I won't
Okay,
derail you here. I'll just find it and put it in chat.
thank you.
So I would 3-bet this a ton, but this is what's kind of concerning me here is the 50 big blinds. I don't know if I want to, 3-bet now or if flatting is actually okay. I probably would most likely just fold most of the time because of this. But what do you think about 3-betting a capped range and a
Normally,
normal open?
normally it's a very good way to play it. And against the broken stack, it's less appealing.
I would need to see more than 4 or 5 hands before I start doing anything. I would just normally default to folding here.
Fold here?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
when I see more hands, when I could see what they're opening, then I'll figure out what I need to do. But usually I don't like to call from the small blind.
Yeah, me either. I didn't, which I was considering it, but yeah, for the exploitative reasons of playing against the pool. But I did do it, and we got what we wanted there. However, we got that.
Well, yeah, now you could fold.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, do we have the odds to just take it?
Are you
To
getting
run our equity?
Are you getting 2 to 1?
Yeah, we got to call. What do we got to call? What do we have? Yeah, 2 to 1.
Yeah, so whenever you're getting 2 to 1, then you could consider making a call because you probably have the equity.
Well,
That's what that's what I
Queen Jack
wanted.
doesn't play good against hot cold. Like,
You never know,
considering the
'cause-
hot cold, like right now, it's a question of how does Queen Jack play against hot cold, right? So, being flushed and suited and connected adds a little bit. So that's 4% for being flushed and maybe another 3% for straightening. But you don't have a king, you don't have an ace, you don't have a pair.
Well, once you get down to 2 to 1, magic things happen where like if you take out his aces and kings, or you think he has aces and kings, not purely, you're getting odds against his entire range.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. That I call it. I was thinking, is this kind of punty? But you're right. I was curious about the 33% equity, basically.
30% is the magic spot.
Yeah. So we won it, but that's obviously the decision point is there.
So that's like, this is like, that's old school turn. Like if you're playing tourneys, you kind of
Yeah.
integrate that 30%, which is
Okay.
2 to 1.
Yeah. All right. Good.
If he shows you 10, then you have to call because you're getting 2 to 1.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, okay, a lot of under pairs, right? A lot of under pairs, which is if he showed me a pair, it's a snap call. If he shows me ace king, it's a snap call. But how often does he have king, queen, king, jack? The hands that do dominate me.
I don't know.
So yeah, but yeah, that's good advice.
And if you're gonna say that he never has aces here, well, he did it with ace king. He checked,
Yeah.
Gambo.
all right, who's
Those-
got a
Those
hand?
tweets are in the chat.
Yeah, I just looked at him.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it. But I don't believe that's why I'm losing.
Why
I
are
believe the
people?
mistake, I believe the mistakes are mine and luck. I do not believe that the mistake is that that I'm playing well and they are playing more well. I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, and also you're playing with cards up, so,
Yeah, so I get to see. Yep. All right, who's got some?
Dominic has one.
All right, put it in.
Just a second. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, here.
Good.
This one is a little bit different than
Mhm.
so.
Good.
Like you can see, this guy folds. I'm in small blind. I raise,
Mhm.
and I get 3-bet. We are a
You're-
little bit more deep stack. And I think in theory, GTO is mixing this between call, fold, and 3-bet. I mean 4-bet, I think.
I'm not sure it's a stack depth, stack
Small blind,
depth.
small blind versus big blind. I expect that this is a call mostly. That's what I expect.
Yeah, I wasn't completely sure. And if this was a fish that three bets like very little, I'm just insta folding. But this guy is regular, and I've seen him
Yeah.
three bet, so I just okay, I'm gonna defend. You know, that's my thought process. So here, very bad. Nothing I have here.
Mhm.
I just check. He checks back, and then flush comes there, but I also have jack now. I choose to bet very small. I don't know if you liked it, like just to get some value from one diamond he may have, because he certainly doesn't have two most of the time here.
Yeah.
And he certainly doesn't really have a queen a lot. So I'm most certain here that I have a best hand. And I don't want to put too much money in, but I can definitely bet. And that's what I'm feeling. And then he calls.
Great. As long as
And
you don't
then
get
on
raised,
five,
great.
here I'm thinking, like I just feel like I'm not strong enough to bet for value, but I'm okay bluff catcher, I guess. So my plan was just to check call smaller sizes, and my best case scenario would be just check. That was my thought process. And yeah,
Right.
it was like this.
Great.
Yeah, that's fine. I
Yeah.
think I mean, the one, maybe one thing, one thought process that's useful on turn is, do I feel like my equity is is it worth one streets of value or two streets of value? And, you know, my argument would maybe in this configuration, it's one street of value. Because you're not comfortable with just this naked pair of jacks to bet two streets. So, you know, if you classify your hand as just,
No,
okay, I've got a one
lots
street
of-
and check turn and then bet river.
Yeah,
But
I
if
guess
they
it's
don't-
close. But,
If we don't raise, it's okay to bet him on the turn and
Okay.
give up on the river.
I think that's a fine strat. That's the way I would think about this hand, is that, do I feel like this is two streets or one street?
And is anybody betting the river thin for value there rather than going for a check call?
if I was against fish, I think I would consider a very small bet, honestly.
Right.
But against regular, I think check maybe a little bit better.
Okay.
That's my process.
I go for tiny check folds against fish. I do that too. Like against a fish, I'll just do the old bet fold.
Yeah.
Because most fish don't have the balls to, you know, bluff me off the river.
So your 100 big blinds deep, your jack nine suited never folds. It mixes calls and four bets. And I'm gonna guess that that when you get deeper, it's gonna even call even more than it four bets.
Yeah,
Currently,
that's
the
right.
four bet,
But
it's 60-40, it's 60-40 in favor of the four bet, but I bet that that's gonna go down. I don't have the 200 big blind chart. If anybody wants to open it, they can.
yeah, but you need to keep in mind that against like recreationals, I think I just want to fold that hand usually, to be honest, because they just three bet more thin and
Okay. Even this
know.
deep though?
Maybe this deep I can call, yeah, I guess. But on 100 big blinds, I'm folding against fish one out of one. No,
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed. Yep. I agree 100% there, Dominic. I might four bet the jack nine. Jack
Yeah,
10.
against regulars, I
Yeah.
guess I could, but I just at 4ML, I just really rarely do this. I just like calling or folding pretty much
Yep.
in this kind of situation. It's
Yep.
easier to play.
I like the way you played it. I like your bet sizing too.
So
Yeah, that's it.
in value bet the river there with the jack, you are gonna get called by some better jacks. And one of the things Matt Affleck pointed out is that if you are not sometimes called by, not slow plays, just you bet and he calls you with a slightly better hand, when you thin value bet. If that's not happening to you, you're not value betting thin enough. That should be happening to you sometimes when you value bet thin.
Oh yeah, you value own yourself sometimes
Yeah,
too.
you're supposed to,
right?
you're supposed to be you're supposed to be wide enough that you're value owning yourself.
Yep.
It doesn't mean that this hand should have been value bet on the river, but I just want to say that. All right, who's got a hand?
So
Yeah.
the point is that sometimes I thin value the river and I get called and I have a little bit better hand and I lose, but it's okay if it happens sometimes. It's normal.
Yes, that's there's a way to have your river bet efficiency too high. It means you're not, although you never make that mistake, you're also not gaining value from all the other times you should be doing it.
Yeah, I think I understand. I think I could be a little bit too nitty there, honestly, but I'm gonna experiment a little bit.
Yeah, and it's that same thing of, you know, if when you bluff catch, if most of the time when you bluff catch, you're right, then you're not bluff catching enough. Because you don't need to be right 50% of the time to make money. You know, at a pot size bet, you need to be right 33% of the time.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, it just means you're folding too often. If your bluff catches work more than half the time, you're folding too often. All right. And if their bets are smaller than pot size, then you're folding way too often. If their bets are bigger than pot size, you're calling too often. All right. 50.
Another unusual line that hopefully I can get roasted for.
All right.
Or not, but let's see. So pretty standard for a lot of this. Here, third, probably maybe could even go half on this flop, but I went third.
Yep. So here's the thing about that flop before you go on, which is, here's normally we said you bet smaller on dry boards and bigger on wet boards. But when a board is really dry, they become inelastic to your bet size because they don't have the draw that they're thinking about. They have
That's
it.
a good point.
So maybe that's why we can bet bigger.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think
about
you
till
could
now.
definitely bet bigger on this. Like
Yeah.
if you were to probably pull it up in solver, like it would have
Yeah.
big bets here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have any speculative hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
Have lots of folds and however many calls they have are just calls. All right.
So here's where I kind of strayed from just continuing is I checked. Do we hate it?
Checked?
It's gonna be hard to get all the money in if he doesn't bet here
Yeah.
So
And
why
by the
would you
way,
check?
without a check raise.
yeah, and this is kind of something that I wanted to point out. This was driving this decision a little bit. He had been
Infinite.
pretty active, like pretty aggressive. So I kind of went that route for that reason.
Okay.
Right.
I don't hate it. I know other people just think this is apostasy, to use a fancy word. But I do this sometimes, especially against the player class that you're talking about, player profile you're talking about.
I think my default play here is to bet 15.
You are certainly representing king, queen offsuit when you take this line.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of hands I could have, but yeah, king queen is one of them.
Yeah.
If I have kings here, I
Yeah.
check. If I have jacks, if I have tens, if I have nines, eights, whatever. But
Yeah.
so I did take that check line, and he did check back, unfortunately,
Mhm.
because he will value bet his ace X hands, I would think.
Yeah.
Most people, our population probably would, and his
Yeah.
aggressive nature would include a lot of bluffs, maybe, which I
Yeah.
block, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But now maybe it gets worse. We get that river, and here's where it gets worse. This is where I'm expecting to get annihilated here by you guys.
I don't love that play.
Yeah, I don't think I did either.
But what are our options?
You bet.
Anything, any size is fine.
Yeah, you bet. You bet and you bet a size that a queen will call because a queen jack is probably gonna raise you, and a king 10 is definitely raising you no matter what, and you're not folding to the king 10. So there you go.
So your equity, even though the straight came in, your equity is probably above 80%, 85% for looking solver. So
More.
you're gonna have a myriad of sizings that profit against different parts of his range, different hand classes.
Now,
Yeah.
I like a bet of 30 of 28 to 40 here, anything in that range. And here's why I like it, because your line was bet, check, bet, which is the line that is both overbluffed and perceived as overbluffed. It's like you're now you're swinging for the fences for the hands that for your club draw and the hands that missed. You don't have a lot of hands that missed, but other than your king 10, your king 10 and your queen jack, who else plays in this order here in his mind?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
you've now, yes, you presented, a lot of people are going to increase their hero calling range here. Because you presented a bluffy line. So I
Yeah.
think, and also I think in theory, Parrot talks about this, is that you've got EV to capture. Which you didn't capture on turn when it went check, check. So I would pot.
Yeah.
and there was Arturo asked about making a tiny bet, like a 10% bet here. And that
Well-
that seems too fancy because it's just so easy if you've got a queen in his case to just call a 10% bet and not go nuts.
Not with aces, yeah. But if we have like ace 8, let's say.
Yeah, you can do that.
I
Try
mean,
to
I
get-
think that's very based on player profile.
But we did get what we wanted, I think,
Nice.
and now it's just that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Show me
Yep,
size.
and hope that he has two pair
Right,
and
yeah,
and not king 10.
Is it?
because I want him to value bet these hands that he could easily have.
Oh no, but what range does he have?
Well, what hand does he have? That's even a better question.
Yeah, this is
Like we are betting, but I don't see like he doesn't have ace pretty much. He doesn't well bet queen or jack.
Well,
He doesn't have sets.
he's got a lot of, I think, we're blocking his flush draws, but he's got some flush draws here.
Yeah, he had like, I mean, in a results wise, it probably got max value, but
He got
again,
max.
all of this is like, I'm losing EV by doing it because,
Yeah, he should never, this is mergey AF. He's got showdown and he's turning his showdown into a bluff. I mean, this is a great play in the sense that this is where we make money in poker, which is capitalizing on people's mistakes, which is what he made. He should check this back pure.
Mhm.
And so you maximize your value against this play.
if he does turn a small pocket pair into a bluff, like say, eights with a club or something, like would he get here with he could call this bet, and then of course goes check, check. And then so his small pocket pairs might not be bad. The bet sizing I think was bad. But if you're gonna turn a pair into a bluff, it should be like 75% here, right?
He needs to get a
Um,
jack to fold.
Yeah, I mean, he should be representing two pair plus here if he's going. And you're right. Also, I think these nines are too good because you have sevens and eights that you play sometimes this way. Oh, I'm sorry, sevens. No, you have eights and sixes you play sometimes this way. Maybe eights because three up pot, but
Not out of sixes. Yeah.
so I don't think you should play it this way with this combo. But I do think like threes and fours here are a better bluff. To get to fold your
Yeah.
sixes and eights.
Mm-hmm.
So Arturus requested the wizard on this one, and I wouldn't mind because I'd like, along with our criticizing your play, I'd like the computer to criticize it.
Do you want to drive? You want me to drive, Mike? I don't mind.
If you have yours up and ready.
Okay, let me just take a screenshot.
Okay, good. And then we'll do one more hand. Then what we'll do is, while you're setting that up, I will do. a quick-
Can I do a hand and then
Oh, yeah, do a
do
hand.
this?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
yeah. If you had a hand ready,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
do
hey,
your hand.
if you got a hand, Larry, then I can take some time to get mine open. and-
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
Larry,
good.
you
Is
do
that
your
all right?
hand,
Is that
Mikey
okay?
wizard it, and then we'll be done.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. All right,
Unless
thank
somebody
you,
else,
Mike. I
unless somebody
appreciate
else
that.
has a hand they're waiting for. If somebody else has a hand that we haven't gotten to that they want to do, we'll do it. Otherwise, we're gonna end on this hand. All right, go Larry.
Okay, so we're gonna show my hand. I think these are both quick, or one of them's quick.
Okay,
And then we'll
good.
go to Mike to finish it off with the solve, right?
Great.
Okay, so you guys can see my hand. Let me see which one this is. Okay, okay, now I'm confused. I don't remember which one is which, so I'm gonna stop sharing. So I can remember which one is which, sorry.
Right.
Okay. They're both. Okay, I'll do the fast one because it's the end of the day here. Sorry,
know.
guys.
We have time to do both.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Okay, you guys can see my screen?
Yep.
So this is all about, sizing tell.
Okay.
So we get a large open. We get a 3-bet. Get a fold. And I think we pure called 4 here, right?
Yep.
So I called 4. So I think it's appropriate size. What do you guys think of the sizing real quick?
Out of position 2.5 to 2.7, a little small,
Okay, so like,
Also,
not criminally small.
would
are
you
we
go like
on both
27 here?
Well,
28?
yeah, 27. If you're gonna go to 2.5 out of position, then it's gonna be about 27. 22. Yeah, 20, that's gonna be 20, yeah, 27.5. If you wanna go to 2.7, you're gonna be a little closer to 28, 30. But yeah,
Okay.
just a little small.
I have to get back, so I've just been trying to memorize GTO wizard sizings, but it doesn't hold here. I just have to go back to the fundamentals here and remember little rules here.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Okay, so we chose this size. Fold. Okay, now this is the decision point. So we're at 24, he clicks us back. What are you guys doing here?
Exploitatively,
Jam or fold.
you can fold. In the solver, you jam.
Yeah, so this is where I think I eat too much solver and my diet of reality is not sufficient. So obviously I see this, I'm like, is this ever not aces?
Yeah, it's queens sometimes.
It's queens worth flipping.
Yeah.
So
but it's not ace queen.
yeah, it's not ace queen. I mean, I would argue this is face up.
Okay.
This
And
obviously
Dominic-
this isn't a thing in solver, right? Solver never makes this play at this stack depth.
It's never queens. Yeah. Dominic says it's queens more than aces and kings, but it's not queens more than aces plus kings.
Whoa.
Dominic.
Now
You-
there
you-
is some
you-
additive.
you-
Okay, I'm wrapping my head
you-
around that. Got it.
You see what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously, our blockers are supposed to play here, but I don't think they really matter.
Yeah,
So
That's just aces.
does anybody find the fold here?
No.
Probably not, but
What was MSI saying?
Did anybody in chat find the fold? Dominic's like, I'm folding. Good. Dominic, well played. Yeah, so I don't find the fold here and I'm trying to figure out if I can, and I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if it's the right play. So that's why I bring this to you guys. Cause I'm not sure if folding here is appropriate. Even though we know this is with this comp, anything other than this, if aces and kings obviously get shoved, queens, queens are indifferent, probably I go broke. His
just
king
don't
though is
see
this weird spot.
I just don't see him min clicking it with queens.
Yeah,
Queen
this min
eight
click I
flop.
think is the tell.
Yeah,
His
exactly.
min
Queen
kick
eight
is,
flop.
I love my hand so much and I don't want you to fold, and I am now going to make you pot committed.
Yeah. Cause even ace king suited is happy to see folds.
Yeah, ace king suited is happy folds. So, so obviously I couldn't resist and we sucked out on him. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the question is, can we find, I mean, that is the exploit fold of all exploit folds. If we can get
Yeah.
to the point where we see this face up play. Dominic's there, I'm not there, frankly. When we see this and then if we see this play, which is face up,
Mm-hmm.
even when we have the blockers, that we get to the fold, that I think is profitable.
Yeah.
And you know, I hit my 30% here, like with the flush. All right, that's the first one. Now the second one, and then I'll hand it back to Mike, is open. Okay, so we're always squeezing here, I think, with this combo.
Yes.
And I'm like, I hope I go 15 or 16. I go 15 in between, so I'm happy with the size.
12, 15, 16, bigger, bigger.
18?
Look at 9. So 3 times this guy, 9, 12, 15, 16, plus 3 more for being out of position.
You're at 19.
19.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and watch that Jonathan Little, which is free for the next 36 hours. We get folds. The most important thing here, and this is, I think, important. This guy should have a capped range.
Very capped.
The uncapped range here folded.
Yeah.
Capped range folds. This guy chooses to flat with his fat stack.
Old guys don't have a capped range in player 6780s. They have a capped range plus aces. There's second hand low that we used to play.
Okay.
But this guy does. There's no third hand low.
Explain that a little bit, because I'm a little
Okay,
confused.
there used to be a phrase in pre-solver days called
Mhm.
second hand low. And what you do is you it's either against a limp or a raise, either one. You're the second person in the pot, you have aces, and you call trying to exploit the squeezer behind. Rather than trying to
Yeah,
get.
yeah,
into
okay.
ISO. But you don't do it in the third position. Because then there's enough dead money in there to go for it.
Got
And-
it.
And in the third position, you're incentivizing the blinds to come in and not squeeze you.
And you
to
don't
come in
want to
for
take
their-
it that multi-way, even
For
before
their pot
flop
odds,
solver.
yeah.
All right, yeah. So I think one thing I gotta work on here is sizing in these kind of unconventional unconventional configurations where my memorization of GTO wizard sizing doesn't help me. So, and the other thing is, this guy's capped. I think I think this is a 4-bet spot when we squeeze like this. I think we mostly range bet.
But what a terrible board for you.
Yeah, it's an interesting board. I mean, we've got some nutted equity here, nutted backdoor equity.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to understand what his range is more. So, would you check here? Anybody, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah, I think check is fine.
Check
But
it. If you get a king, you pick, if you get the king, you pick up an up and down straight draw against his king. And the only card you don't want to see on the turn is an ace. And even that's not terrible. You don't want it. I think I might check. What happened pre was it went raise, call, 3-bet front, 3-bet, fold, call. And even though you're in 3-bet land, he's not folding a queen, he's not folding a 10 here. And everything else has very little against you. And yeah, giving him a free card to an ace sucks, but
Okay, I could see a check. I think that's a better play
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So I choose to use kind of this kind of in between mergey size. Like a
and this is
B40.
very hand oriented, not range oriented, what I just said. Because there are other hands in your range that want to play differently.
Yeah. And we see this in a capped range.
This is miserable, but if he's overplaying queen jack, you're still dead. And if
Yeah.
he's overplaying 2 diamonds, is one of them bigger? Is one of them a king or an ace? Did he do this with 9? Did he do this with 9-4 of diamonds?
By the way, it's very hard, and in game it's very hard to figure out pot odds here because on global, this is a bug. The pot's not 267 bigs.
Yeah.
It's the pot now is 38 plus 1220
Mhm.
plus the rest of mine. So it's 38 plus 1220, which is like, let's estimate that at 50. So he's just put in 100 big blind bet. Or yeah, 100 big blind bet. So anyway,
Powerful.
yeah. Is there anybody on team hero call here? Yes, he has flush draws for sure. He has flush draws that are going to do this sometimes.
Right. But if if it's a flush draw and an over, ugh. It's only if it's a flush draw and an under, and if that under is, well, if the under is 8-9, you at least you boat up when he gets a straight.
So I'm with team Mike
That's
C
it.
here. I think that our blockers are, I think, there's not much to go on here, except that he is just fast playing top of his range.
Right.
And we are blocking his natural bluffs. We are blocking Jack 9. We are blocking King Jack.
Right.
And we are blocking
Okay, so let's use your
flush draws.
logic from before. Do you beat any value?
This is a pure bluff catcher.
Right. So we got that. Is this
Now
an
the next
overbluff?
question is hard because this is a very unusual hand.
Yes.
Is this an overbluffed or underbluff line? This is a very, very unusual line. So I don't know.
Very- Yeah.
That's maybe what flummoxed me here.
Right.
Yeah, we don't see this.
Right. And then again, and do you have outs? And the answer is you do. You have a lot of backdoor, but yuck.
Yeah, so all of a sudden we're putting this hero call spot.
Yeah.
So I'm with Mike C. I thought this is a good fold. This fold.
Yeah.
Does anybody think that's an egregious error?
No,
Ooh.
Silence is good. All right.
I think it's an egregious hand.
Well put.
Let's see, right here. Okay.
But Dean, he can jam a 10 and try to get, he can jam his 10 there that doesn't have a diamond. Saying, I do not want to be outdrawn by your 2 Broadway cards. The note is, Dean said, I doubt he jams his quads or full house. And jamming ace queen into a range with king king in it and ace ace in it is dumb, and which makes this feel draw heavy to him.
I think that's a valid argument.
Right.
I mean, I think we have some heroes there, but I think
But
I
I-
lean towards fold.
Yep. But I don't love our equity against draws. Unless part of those draws are a gut shot. I like our equity against gut shots. I very
Which
much
we're
like,
blocking.
which we're blocking. No, we're not blocking gut shots. His ace, king and king 9. We like because we vote up when the straight comes in.
Oh, I see your point. Yeah, that's a good point.
I like when he has king 9. I like when he has king 9 of diamonds there that what he thinks are 3 additional outs turn out to be 0 additional outs. Okay. Solve.
All right, so pre-flop, we all kind of figured was pretty standard. I made it 11 instead of 12.
Mhm.
He called his 9s, which I should. He can also 3-bet those in that kind of loose configuration.
Yeah.
We get the flop. We c-bet, and we have yeah, so either small or 50.
Yeah, and very little 50,
hand.
right? Just a sliver of 50.
I mean, it's 25% of 50 in there.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm reading it wrong. I'm reading the yellow.
yeah, it's
Yellow-
kind of hard to determine the 33 and 50 color,
Yeah, okay, I see it now.
but it likes a smaller bet better. I thought there'd be a little bit more bigger bet sizing, but they did, and they should call with their 9s,
Mhm.
even without clubs, which he did. We get the ace of diamonds.
Look at that.
It
You found it.
not mind it. But again, this is solver, so we're playing 2 perfect players, right? And
Yeah.
population typically doesn't play perfectly, so. Solver's
I think you
okay.
get to, I think you get to pat yourself on the back that you found this trap.
Yeah, well, again, I was just trying to be exploitative and being, like you said, fancy play syndrome. Can't
I
remember my
thought it was fancy
combo
play.
was club heart, if that makes any difference. Club
I wanted to see that. Club
does,
Heart's the one that does it. And so the idea is if you have, what's the board?
it's two clubs.
Two
and
clubs.
spade.
So you need a club, so you want to have a club to do this, is the answer. Without a club, you bet much less often. I mean, you check much less often. I meant that is right. Okay,
Yeah.
so good. Wow.
But so yeah, then he has his pocket nines, which should check. But notice his small pairs do start to want to get in here.
Yeah.
Start bluffing. But he checked, which is good.
One question, was your combination exactly club heart?
Yeah.
Was it the combination? Okay,
Yeah.
so somebody should be accusing you of using RTA at this point.
Yeah,
Nicely
right.
done.
Uh-huh.
That's
He
really
should.
good. Yeah.
It's
Nice.
your brain solver.
Small, so we get the jack of diamonds. Still a little checking, but otherwise it's small betting, but little surprised. I was kind of surprised to see this right now.
Yeah, I thought we would want to recapture EV.
I mean, it's wants to bet small, wants to block.
And the small size is 25%, not 14,
30.
right?
Wants 30. Or 35, I should say.
Oh, okay. It bets 14.5, right? Okay. Wants to bet 35%, not
Yeah.
60. Okay.
I'm assuming when we bet that his nines are just going to fold to everything. I go back here. It's, even if we bet 35 nines, I'm guessing just folds. Mostly.
He
But we
wants a
do-
club there to call. That seems weird.
It does. Well, you're not supposed to bluff with your
Broke. You're not supposed to bluff with your
busted FD.
But-
And
Ew.
he should, like we all figured, should check back his nines.
Yeah.
But yes, this is these small pairs turning them into bluffs, wants to get in there and do it.
So this is the check line. So yeah, so this is important. We were talking
Population
about
just
this.
never finds those small those paired, like they just don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't think even good regs typically find that kind of thing.
So he bets out and he bets
Yeah.
small.
It was like kind of half-ish, a little
Yeah.
less than half.
Yeah.
Right? What was it?
Which it looks like 8-7 does.
Just a little less than half.
Yeah.
So he's
So-
he's supposed to always check back this portion, right? The eighth.
Yeah, his not, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
But he
freak
should
eight
value
is-
bet his ace jack, ace queens.
Which freak eight suit is it? Is it clubs? When the
Which
eights
what?
do it? The eights have this little bit of betting, so just roll over the eights and just see. It's with a club. Okay.
So I'm not sure, just give him like I think either way, no matter what he does, we're just gonna,
We just-
yeah, we just do it.
Yeah.
No matter what he does,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
WP, sir.
All right, everybody.
Thanks, Scotty. What's your schedule next week?
Next week is Monday and I'm almost sure I'm still in town. Give me 1 second here. I will hit let me hit the stop recording button because those people don't care about this or human life the way we do. Bye, everybody. Like and subscribe. Or comment. We like comments. Comments are fun.